Yes, y'all. Welcome to Office Hours. Happy Friday. Welcome. Let me know if you can hear me okay, and we will get the show on the road here momentarily. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. All right, just finishing up some logistics on this side, but I think I'm ready to rumble. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Gary, welcome. Good to see you here, my friend. Welcome. Happy Friday. I hope wherever you're at, it's good. Hope it's beautiful. Hello, PJ. Good to see you, sir. Welcome. We've got another beautiful day here in San Diego. What's up, Jennifer, Raul, Zach? Welcome. Marcia, good to see you here. Welcome. Awesome. Good. Well, look, as I said, it is a beautiful San Diego day here. Nothing but sunshine in the forecast. So we're in a good mood. We're ready to rumble. So let's do this. Office hours, as you probably already know, is pure Q&A. I have no agenda for you other than to do my best to try and give you a hand on anything that I can give you a hand with, any questions that I can answer, anything that you want to discuss. I will do my best to add some value and let you know if I don't think I can. So if you guys just want to fire in any questions that you have into the comments, please feel free to go ahead and get started with that. So that way I can get going through them. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a link here. This is for those of you who would like to come on camera and have a little bit of a chat with me. If you've got a question that is longer, more detailed, needs more context than is simple to put into the chat, please feel free to use that link and you will join me on camera. Don't worry, you won't press that link and then immediately be on camera. You'll be backstage here. I'll be able to see you there waiting, and I will make sure that you give me the go ahead, give me the green light, thumbs up to come on camera before I put you on in front of everybody. So give you a chance to make sure you're decent, all that good stuff. I laugh, I joke about that. I actually had my first naked Zoom experience just recently where I was the naked one. I wasn't completely naked, but nobody would know that by looking at me because I didn't have a shirt on or anything like that. And I was jumping onto a Zoom where I did not mean to actually jump on camera yet. It was one of those situations, a classic, well, of course you're going to accidentally jump on camera because you're sitting here with no clothes on, you idiot, right? And so there I go, and jumped on camera with no shirt on. I was like, oh God. So always exciting. But that won't happen here. I will see you back there and I'll be able to give you some warning before we get on to camera here. Okay, awesome. All right, looks like we've got some questions coming in here, so I am going to go ahead and jump into them. Let's see here. Grow Your List with Jay says, hey Mike, I'm super excited to learn from you. Switch from dominant to your link. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Glad to have you here, and I look forward to hopefully helping as best I can. Raul says, regarding UpHex, would you recommend adding this as an upsell add-on service on top of the base package? And if so, would you recommend it as a do-it-yourself tool or as a service for your clients? Awesome. Raul, this is a great question. So Raul is clearly in the agency business, which I just point out because there are some people on this call that will be in different businesses, but he is in the digital agency business. He is referring to UpHex, which is a software platform which allows you to very easily fire up and manage Facebook ad campaigns for small business customers. And it is a platform that I am a huge fan of because it, I believe, for the first time, really makes doing Facebook ad management, and I use the word management. I do this when I say management for reasons I will clarify here in just a moment. but that it makes it a viable model, I believe, for the masses of digital agencies and for the masses of small businesses that would like some help for Facebook ads from digital agencies. Okay. By the way, I am an affiliate of UpHex, and I did a presentation with the founder of UpHex, which you can see right there, servicesthatscale.com/UpHex. And I just mentioned that I'm an affiliate because if you end up, investing in UpHex through me, I do get a commission. So I just want to be transparent about that. But UpHex is one of two platforms, the other being High Level, that I absolutely recommend to anybody in the digital agency space that is trying to serve small businesses. I think that they are both game-changing platforms in that space. So UpHex, the question was, should I offer that as an add-on to the base package? And if so, what I recommend is a do-it-yourself tool or as a service. Okay. So Raul, when he refers to the base package, I believe what he is referring to is packages that I have recommended in my high leverage agency program for people to use High Level as the foundation of their service packages. And in those base packages, it is primarily about what you can deliver through High Level software platform, including some of their core features, but also adding on some assets, as I refer to them, that you have developed for your customers. So those could be some campaigns, some landing pages, website, things like that, so that your small business customers are not just having to sign into these tools, High Level being the tool in this case, and having to just do their own marketing through these tools. Okay. I believe it's a big mistake to just sell small businesses tools in general if you are in this agency business. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, because all of the tools already exist. So if a small business can just sign up and use the tools themselves, they could already be doing that. There's tools for everything out there, right? So the far majority of small businesses are not getting their marketing done, not because of a lack of tools. They're not getting their marketing done because of a lack of knowledge, experience, and time and energy to put into it. So that's a big part of what your value proposition should be. It should be that I am going to help you accomplish your marketing goals and ultimately really your business growth goals, right? But I am going to do that leveraging tools because it's going to make my service that much more affordable, that much more efficient, and that much more effective than a typical agency model, right? A typical agency model is based on you're going to hire some talented people. They're going to bill you by the hour, or they're going to bill you some monthly retainer or whatever it is, and they're going to do marketing for you, right? It's a terrible model for small businesses, and it's a terrible model for agencies serving small businesses. And so this is why High Level and UpHex are such game changers, is because you can leverage these tools to help small businesses accomplish goals, but it's by leveraging tools, not just by providing tools and saying, there, you got the tool, now do it, right? Otherwise, they would have already done it. So with UpHex, what I recommend is that very similar to High Level, is that the ideal scenario is that you have a combination of service and the tools to create the outcome that you're looking for that small business customer. Are there small business customers that would just happily log into UpHex and just use it as SaaS, since that's what you have to be able to offer them? Yes, there are. But I would argue that audience is a much, much, much smaller audience than the audience of people, of small businesses that really have no clue about this whole Facebook advertising thing. And the fact that you can help them launch their ads efficiently, affordably, and effectively, and then give them the ability to see inside of that tool maybe occasionally make some changes on their own or launch something new on their own, but see results and reports and all that type of stuff that makes sense to them, that combination of, providing the access to the tool, but also saying, hey, look, as part of our initial service, as part of our initial onboarding fee, what we do is we launch the 7 most effective campaigns for your industry so that you're up and running immediately. We use best practice ads, best practice campaign structure, tested, over X number of, customers already. And this is something an agency would probably cost you, minimum of $5,000 to design all this stuff and get it set up for you. With us, it's one time $500. Everything gets launched, everything gets set up, and you're off to the races. And then you control the budget on those ad campaigns yourself, Mr. Customer, using our software to help guide you. That combination, I think, is a super effective value proposition to small businesses and to the majority of small businesses. So that would be my recommendation. I recommend that you charge some sort of monthly fee for access to a combination of the tools and your proprietary campaigns and ads and things like that, and ongoing testing and optimization by your team. I think that should be a part of your pitch. Now, ongoing testing and optimization by your team is incredibly valuable, but with UpHex, incredibly easy and largely automated. And so this is why I think that UpHex makes management a actual viable option in the small business space for the first time. Because typically management, ad campaign management, would mean that you would need to charge the customer thousands of dollars in management fees on top of their budget, right? I mean, really, if you're doing any management of campaigns, other than just, some window dressing, like I'm just logging in every once in a while and clicking a button and, launching a new campaign. If you're truly doing management of campaigns, I know as somebody who has spent millions of dollars of my own money on Facebook ads, it's a very, very busy job. You're in there tweaking and tuning, launching campaigns, testing new creatives all the time. Like, it's a busy job. Small businesses don't need that. I mean, most of these small businesses can't invest more than $500 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever it is total in their ad budget. So they can't spend $1,000 a month on ads and $2,500 a month with you for management. There's literally no way that they will ever get an ROI when they're spending $2,500 for you and only $1,000 on the ads, right? All that money should go to ads. So with UpHex, you can have them spend their $1,000 a month on ads. You charge them $97, $197, $297 a month, and offer some really, really smart optimization of campaigns using UpHex's software. And also, just as importantly, be able to very easily test and share best practices from a bunch of different customers over time that you can then launch into their accounts. So they're getting access to your team's knowledge. They're getting access to all the things that you're testing and doing for other clients and things that you're learning. But because of UpHex, you can deliver the results of that knowledge and that testing so efficiently that you don't need to charge them a ton of money to deliver those results. That makes your service incredibly accessible to the mass of small businesses now. To me, that is the ideal situation. And so that's a long answer, Raul. I hope that helped you. To me, the ideal service model for small business customers is that you want to be very modestly priced. Okay, there's all kinds of gurus that are out there telling you, you can do the $10,000 a month super duper package, with small businesses and, whatever. Like, yes, you can. Can you sell some of those? Yes, you absolutely can. Will you keep those customers very long in the small business space? No. Small businesses don't have that kind of money. So if you want to keep customers for years and years and years, you've got to be very modest price, which means that your services have to be very high degree of automation and scalability. High level, UpEx are both incredible for that. So that allows you to deliver that total service stack when you're talking about the base packages plus UpEx. You can do all of that in these price ranges that are like $497 a month, $697 a month for a killer value stack. And now you can keep customers for years and years, 85, 90% gross margins. That's how you get that incredible recurring revenue stream. It's largely passive, incredibly scalable. That's the kind of business I like to build. That's the kind of business I recommend you guys build. And if you look at the best businesses serving the small business industry, they're all in those price points and price ranges, right? Look at whatever software is being sold or HubSpot or anything like that. Those price ranges are proven in the small business space. They have those limited budgets. That's what they can afford. So I think that the ideal package keeps you in those modest price points, which means what you're charging for UpEx and your services can't be, too expensive, or you start to get out of there pretty quickly. So it's management, but it's really management through a whole bunch of automation. And it's that initial upfront surge of creating the campaigns for them. That's a huge value proposition. Okay, Danny Garcia, how are spam concerns handled when doing reactivation campaigns? Well, Danny, if you're doing a reactivation campaign, it should be to people you are reactivating, which means that they should have already opted in. They should have already been leads. They should have already been customers. And so if they are hearing from you, the fact that it's a reactivation campaign says maybe they haven't heard from you in a while. And so it may be a little bit out of the blue, but hopefully it's not considered spam. And so I would say that the way that you are communicating in your campaign is vital, right? So as an example, Danny, if you are a prospect of mine and I hadn't communicated with you in 6 months, but you had been in touch with me 6 months ago, and I sent you a message and I said, hey, Danny, it's Mike with servicesthatscale.com. And I know you haven't heard from me in a while, but the last time we did chat, you mentioned that you were interested in X. I'm just reaching out again to say hi and check in to see if that's something that you're still interested in. That, that hopefully a message to that tune would never be considered spam. Right? It's just like a human being reaching out to a human being saying, hey, just checking in, right? From there, all the way to the other side of the spectrum is what, unfortunately, you probably see in your inbox all the time, because I know I see it in my inbox and in my LinkedIn messages and Facebook messages and blah, blah, blah. It's amazing how people take whatever guru's content. I hate that word, but you know what I mean by that? Like the gurus that are telling you to do something kind of slimy, right? That's what I mean when I say guru. I don't mean just expert, right? There's nothing wrong with experts. I get like literally the exact same campaigns from like 50 different people every day. So like people are not even taking a minute to like review the content that they're sending out the door that somebody gave them as a template and personalizing it in any way. That's a mistake. That's spam. When I see the same message come from 50 different people every day, I know that you bought some templated thing and you're just sending me the templated thing. That's a mistake. Okay, it's a mistake. So on the far end of the spectrum versus what I just said, Danny, is the super aggressive, you haven't heard from me in 6 months, but here's my, super duper offer, buy this now, type of thing, right? Because I'm trying to reactivate you. That's a big mistake. Okay. There are all kinds of degrees in between there. What I would recommend is that if you are starting let's say you're doing these reactivation campaigns in a particular industry, okay, I would do your best to try to brainstorm ideas that are across that spectrum. So here's the least aggressive approach I could take. Here's the most aggressive approach I would consider taking. Here are a couple of options in between. Then what I would do is I would test, starting personally with the most conservative version, the version that says, just like I told you before, hey, it's me reaching out to seeing if I can help you, right? And then I would start to progressively work my way towards more aggressive and see where you land and what seems to be a comfortable point for you and your customers. Okay. And we all have differences on this, right? There's some degree of aggressiveness in selling that we all are comfortable with, right? Some people, you come onto their office hours calls like this, a lot of people have office hours, and they're going to start with a pitch in the first 15 seconds. 3 minutes into it, they're going to have another pitch. 10 minutes into it, they're going to have another pitch. They're going to end it with a pitch because they're super comfortable with hey, my brand is all about sell, 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 sell. And if I'm doing a damn office hours for you people for free, then you're going to hear it, right? I'm not even saying that there's anything wrong with that at all. I'm saying that you got to find your comfort spot, and also, of course, the comfort spot of your customers to make sure that you are sending, because you're representing their brand. So you got to figure out where that is, and you should probably give them some options, right? Is to give them, hey guys, here's the spectrum, and here's the most aggressive side, and here's the least aggressive side. You're going to get more results in terms of probably sales responses on the aggressive side, but you're also going to get more complaints, yada, yada. So there is no necessarily right or wrong, but that is the approach that I would take. And then Danny, in terms of actual handling those spam concerns. So obviously you want to make sure that you give clear instructions on how people can opt out and no longer get information from you, right? And then also you want to make sure that anything that you're sending out the door, no matter how you got that information from your customer, hey, these are all past customers, past leads, whatever, clean the list, right? So use list cleaners. There's all kinds of options out there to make sure that the email addresses are good, to make sure that they're not spam traps, things like that. And like I said, I don't know the names right offhand of the tools out there these days for that, because all I do is inbound marketing now. I don't do any, outbound cold and anything like that. So, yeah. And so what Jennifer is saying here, same thing. Make sure all emails and phone numbers are valid, because if you take some old list that somebody gives you and do a reactivation campaign to it without testing that, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble pretty quickly. Gary says, launching content as a service for one niche. Awesome. Can you provide a detailed rollout, including using AI, 3 methods to acquire clients, and how you might price your packs and scale? Go nuts. Wow. All right, let's do this. This is like a business model on the spot. Okay. So content as a service for one niche. So first of all, what I would say, Gary, is that content as a service, as you know, I've been doing for a long time. And there are, I would say, a couple of variations of it that are on extreme sides of the spectrum, right? So one is we're creating custom, whatever, blog posts, videos, whatever for you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer every month, right? So it's custom to that customer. That needs to be priced accordingly to your production costs, to the fact that it's custom, all that type of stuff. I see businesses out there doing that right now. $5,000 a month up to $15,000 a month seems to be some successful price points that I see people doing that type of work for. So at $5,000 to $15,000 a month, clearly you need to be doing that for somebody who really sees the value in content and understands the value in content to be able to invest that much into it on a consistent basis, right? So obviously then the nature of the industry would be very important in the model. If this is content that you're doing for more like typical small businesses where they're like, yeah, I know I need content, but I don't, I don't see the strategic value and ROI in being a content marketing machine or whatever. It's just like, yeah, I know I need to have something up there. Those businesses, then you're probably going to have to be priced, significantly lower. And it could be, again, more like what I've done with Content Delivered, where it's literally like a $47 a month, $67 a month, $97 a month type of service, where in that case, what you're doing is you're creating a bunch of content, you're delivering it to them, and you're saying, this is not custom. Consider it 80% done, 85% done. Your job, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, is to put in the effort to do the last 15 or 20% to make it yours, and then take advantage of it. Okay. In either of those scenarios, I would be leveraging AI heavily to create your content plans in terms of your topics, potential headlines, and then actual writing of drafts of content for sure. And I expect, in the next year, man, like you're going to be able to just like, there's going to be some AI capabilities out there where you're just going to be able to say, here's the topic, here's some general instructions, give me a month of social posts, a blog, 4 blog posts, newsletter, email campaigns, presentations around that topic. And it's just going to create everything for you. Rough versions of that already exist, but I think over the next year, that's just going to be easy. So as an agency, what you're fighting against is that some small businesses will just say, oh, I'm just going to use, AI and just do that myself. The reality is, depending on the industry that you're working with, the far majority still won't, right? Like, hey, I'm running a pizza shop, not, creating content. It's not my job. So again, depending on the industry that you're going after, a pizza shop probably isn't the best example, other than maybe social posts, but there will be some pressure on the AI front to make sure that you're being super efficient and that your costs are keeping, as low as possible. If you're doing on the very low side model, operationally, it's create the content, put it into a membership area like I'm doing, alert them that they have the content and they should use it. And that's pretty much it, right? If you're doing a higher end model, I think that you should look at everything in terms of all the way going through to actually posting the content for them. I've done that in the past where it's like, hey, we're your content manager. We're going to post it on WordPress. We're going to make sure your lead magnets are integrated. We're going to make sure that the images are up there, that it's SEO optimized. Like, we're going to do the whole thing. Again, obviously, that has to be at a higher price point. So you've got to determine where you fit in there and exactly what content you're producing for who. But that's kind of a high level overview of those models. In terms of how you would sell it, so methods to acquire clients, it would be primarily based on, again, who your market is that you're going after, but direct contact with those businesses through cold email, social media would definitely be an approach that I would be taking. And then also just doing your own content marketing, right? Your own leading by example, right? So doing a bunch of content marketing, about the importance of content marketing for that industry that you're serving, all that type of thing. And having an inbound approach from that content would be incredibly important as well. So I think that those are the biggest. If you look at, Gary, if you look at those businesses that I'm referring to that are selling content, for $5,000 to $15,000 a month, that type of thing, they're very heavily active on producing and distributing their own content about content and about content marketing, right? So they're on Twitter, they're on YouTube, all that, LinkedIn, and they're just super active as content marketers. And then a lot of those businesses are doing like cold reach out on Twitter, on LinkedIn, that type of thing as well. So I think that all of those would work. What's up, Brittany? Good to see you. Happy Friday. Promoting Go High Level as a standalone CRM is getting extremely competitive. Yes. Yeah. Okay, good. This is the most important question for anybody who is selling using high level as a foundation to their service offer. You should not be selling the tools. You should be selling what you are doing for the small businesses, which is helping them to grow, helping them achieve their marketing goals, helping them to get whatever it is ultimately is the outcome, more leads, more customers, that type of thing. That's what you should be selling. Okay. And you should be selling your proprietary system for doing that. Okay. So let me give you an example by what I mean, because I think people get confused on this. Okay. So the R4, right, is a system that I've used to sell marketing services, and then I train other agencies on how to sell marketing services using the R4. Okay. So what I would be selling, let's say that I'm talking to Michael, and Michael has a plumbing, he's a plumber, right? He's got a plumbing business. And I would go to Michael and I would say, Michael, we have the super duper plumbing growth marketing system. And that system is based on the concept of these 4 R's. Okay, here are the 4 R's, right? And I would walk them through, reputation, reach, resell, retarget and reactivate, refer, whatever that I want to put up there. And I would walk him through why having a system in place for each of those R's at his business is essential to growth and consistent growth over time. And I should be able to get Michael nodding his head and going, yeah, that all makes sense to me. And then I say, awesome. Well, Michael, that's what we do. We've developed the super duper growth marketing system for plumbers that incorporates those 4 R's. And when I say incorporates, it's a complete system that we've designed that includes landing pages, web page, email marketing campaigns, SMS marketing campaigns, and all of the marketing systems and tools that are necessary to deliver all of that and make that system work with a very high degree of automation, so that we're not asking you to become a marketing guru, and we're not asking you to hire a team of 3 expensive people to run all of this for you. And does that sound like a good fit for you? Right? So Michael could care less about, in almost all cases, Michael could care less about what's the CRM feature that you have. Michael doesn't. Michael the plumber is not hanging out comparing CRM features. He doesn't care about any of that. So you should not be selling that. All you're doing is commoditizing yourself and putting yourself in a position to be compared to other software platforms, which is the last place that you want to be. So you should be selling the system. And when I say selling the system, I'm going to make a bunch of videos about this very quickly, because it's such an important concept that everybody needs to understand. You should be selling the system as in you have the super duper growth marketing system for plumbers, right? So that's your proprietary thing that you're selling. But you should also be selling the concept of a system, right? Because this is what 99% of small businesses are lacking, is a system. They do one-off promotions. They deliver a successful product or service enough that they're getting some referrals and stuff like that. And so they've got some word of mouth business that has allowed them to grow, to some extent. But the reason why small businesses peter out in their growth is that there is no consistent system that is working on their behalf 24/7. It is just these occasional one-off wins, right? And then even worse, if you don't have that system and you go invest dollars in some sort of more expensive marketing, advertising campaigns and things like that, those campaigns are doomed to, if not fail, at least get much lower results than you would hope for, because there is no system to support them and follow up based on the results that you got. So this is the classic Groupon story, right? Groupon went out and got floods and floods of new customers for small businesses overnight, and then got tons of backlash because there is all these small businesses reporting that Groupon ripped them off and is putting them out of business because now they have to serve these cheap customers who come in and want deals. Groupon handed these small businesses one of the most powerful models ever for acquiring new customers in the history of mankind. It wasn't Groupon that was the problem. It was the small businesses then had absolutely zero system to follow up and capitalize on what was given to them. They had no upsell process. They had no resell process, right? They had no retargeting process. So what did they get? They got a bunch of people that came in with 70% discounts. And yeah, that sucks if that's all you get and you have no system to capitalize on it. 95, 98, 99% of small businesses have no system. So you want to sell your system, but you want to sell the concept and the importance of a system first. Because if I'm a small business who has bought into that insight that, oh, geez, I need a system here. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I read that E-Myth book 20 years ago. That was all about systems, and you got to have systems. I forgot all about that, right? I haven't been operating with a system, damn it. Here comes this Mike guy talking about systems. It makes sense. Once I've had that insight, the very next question is then, where do I get my system? Who's got the system? And so if you sell the insight first, and then when I say, Mike, does that make sense to you? And Mike the plumber goes, yeah, that makes sense to me. Totally. I read that damn E-Myth book about 20 years ago. I wake up having nightmares about that sometimes. Awesome. Yeah, I get it. Well, that's what we've done is we've created the system. Can I tell you about our system? Yeah, tell me about your system. That's how you sell it. Okay. So sell the concept of the system, then sell your system, and you've got a winning combo. Stay out of the weeds of features and functionality. Will there be some questions you have to ask about that stuff? Sure. When somebody asks you a question, let me give you the best question that you can respond with. When Michael says, well, does your CRM do triple, contact fields for whatever? You respond with, that's an interesting question, Michael. Why do you ask? You don't gotta regurgitate all the amazing features that you have and stuff in your CRM system. You just say, that's an interesting question, Michael. Why do you ask that? And then hear what his concerns are. And then say, yeah, if our system addresses those concerns for you, is that important to you? Yeah, that's important to me. Great. If we take care of that, does that sound good? Yep, sure. Awesome. Don't need to get into all the features and bells and whistles. Okay. I hope that helps you, because that is literally the most important question in the industry right now. It's so stinking important because people are struggling with that. Kyle, my man, I see you back there. You ready to come on board? All right. We love Kyle because Kyle has and is not afraid to come on and ask them. Kyle?
Well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but I think maybe am I still coming through on the other screen or something? Because I might hear the echoing in the background. Nah, maybe not. I think you're good now.
Test. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of echo, but it's okay.
Little echoey. Okay. So I wanted to get your take on something that I'm projecting here, but I think you'll not think it's a good idea. But I have been thinking lately that we just with GuestCare, we just got to, I think, we're at about 16 clients doing anywhere from 15 to 20K, and I was thinking of positioning the service as though we're not taking any more clients right now for for the foreseeable future, and instead of bifurcating my energy between, you know, service delivery and prospecting, instead just kind of like being a bit more obsessive over the clients that I do have, and, you know, and turning, you know, the insights that I generate, you know, through this services rendered into insights, and then turning that into content, and then, you know, perhaps just creating some kind of a lead magnet, and then finally, you know, I'll take calls, you know, road mapping calls, but, you know, there's no pitch. It's just you can get on the wait list, and that's it. Just to sort of begin positioning a bit more exclusivity around the agency, and maybe a little bit more of a something like that. So, what do you think?
I think so. I'm muting you real quick just to make sure background noise is minimized here. I think that this is something that I've seen other agencies do. I think that there is, as long as there is truth to the fact that you are, hey, we're not accepting more clients and there's a wait list, I think it's totally fine. I think that if it's just a gimmick, I don't like it. But it doesn't sound like that's what it is. I also have done a minimized degree of this with my businesses. I think I've shared, you know, with you in the past probably, is that what I've done is I've like limited the number of new customers that I would bring on each month to like 3 to 5 new customers a month. And I did that very truthfully and honestly with my customers, because our service delivery would start to falter if we brought on too many customers too fast. So I would tell them, hey, look, I only bring on 3 to 5 so I can make sure and deliver the service that I know that you expect and that we want to be able to deliver. And because of that, I'm very selective about the customers that I bring on board. I want to make sure that they're a great fit. I want to make sure that they value our services. I want to make sure that they have the budget and intention to stay with us long term. So I would directly ask those customers, those prospects, do you think that that's the case for you? Can you check all these boxes? And then, you know, we got to the point where every month we would have 10 or 15 solid opportunities. And then we'd have to say, hey guys, look, we would love to have you as a customer, but we can't do it until the next month, right? And we're gonna, you know, we're starting to stack them up. That's an ideal sales situation. And so there's nothing wrong with that model at all. And I do think because of service quality issues, in almost all cases, you're going to have to end up doing something like that anyway as you scale up. And in almost all cases, like we can't just infinitely bring on customers. So I would say that that's all good. I like the idea of diving into your customers, creating content around that, of course, like case studies, insights, best practices, all that stuff. My caution just would be is that you hit the brakes too hard, right? It could be very easy to all of a sudden get really behind on your sales cycle. And then now you're in a 90-day drought before you can catch back up again and all that stuff. So I would just hope that while you're in this pause, that you're still getting some of this content out the door to make sure that you're still attracting that interest and pulling people onto that wait list and that type of thing, so that you're not just completely stopping the marketing side of it. Otherwise, I would just hate to see you go backwards on your sales cycle too much.
Okay. Yeah, that all sounds good. And I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I want to be sure that I'm continuing to, you know, fill the pipeline somehow. Otherwise, yeah, it's otherwise it's very precarious, right? Because like there's always going to be some sort of churn, and it's still like it's not that I'm saying, you know, this is like the ultimate goal, like where it's at right now. It's just like maybe take that pause and just kind of like zero in on the clients and you know, hopefully they turn into the growth engine as much as any prospecting activities. And anyway, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think the one thing I think that I have sensed this from you too, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past, that I would caution you, but I'll also caution everybody on the call, is to, you know, Kyle has set a very high standard for himself and his services to actually really be able to move the needle in the industry that he's working in. He's got a lot of passion for that industry and really wants to, you know, be able to create some impressive results there. which I admire. I also just know that it is something that can be there can be a lot of danger there in the approach, in that the customers that you're working with may not be customers that can capitalize on the awesome things that you're doing for them, to the point that it actually, I guess you can't take too much responsibility for their results, right? So you know this as a person who's experienced in your industry. If you do the best dang marketing campaigns and the customer goes in there and gets cold food in a dirty bathroom, your marketing is, just got one leg chopped off, right? So it's just, there's only so much you're gonna be able to do for them. So you get to the point where if you're taking too much responsibility for what you're doing, you are actually like almost in partnership with the customers. And I think that is a very, that's a very dangerous model to be in with small businesses. They almost never have the upside or the ability to reward you appropriately for the effort. It's just reality. If you were working for a $1 billion whatever business, and you were able to move the needle with them with some awesome marketing campaigns, and they're able to go, oh wow, we can pay Kyle's firm $1 million bonus because he moved the needle for us by 17 million in this quarter's campaigns. Awesome. You can bend over backwards for that customer and do everything you can to get those results, because they can reward you appropriately. With the small business that is run like most small businesses are, and the margins that they're operating with, you could be putting a lot of effort for something that does not get compensated. So that's just in general with small businesses. That's a warning I have. You of course know your industry, know your situation, and you should just, I think, keep your eyes out for that.
May I respond, or do you have to move on?
No, go for it.
So I do think like a middle ground in my case specifically could be found in restaurant groups, where it's, when you take on a client, it's not just like one, it's like you can if you implement an efficiency in one restaurant, you can implement it in all of the restaurants. And so there is that. And then when it comes to getting the results, I'm no longer working with folks where we can't have transparency at the level of revenue. Because what I measure is attention, I measure database growth and activation, and I measure revenue lift. And I keep the expectations pretty realistic. I say we're not gonna 10x your revenue here, but maybe we can find we can create little bumps month in, month out, and if we can create 10%. 10% revenue lift next month or the next couple months, say we do that every single month over the course of a year, that's 300%, growth, which again, I'm not going to promise that, but it just makes it a bit more manageable. And so how does that check out?
Yeah. So I would say it's all ultimately then about the scalability and efficiency of the service that you can deliver to achieve those results. Because 1%, 3%, 10% doesn't matter to me in a restaurant group. It's just not a lot of money. But if you look at a company like Slice, right? Slice is now $100 million a year, apparently, just serving pizza shops, independent pizza shops. The average independent pizza shop only does $450,000 or $380,000 or something like that. So these are not big businesses at all. And Slice is now at $100 million a year doing marketing and other services for those businesses. Now, what have they done? They have expanded using technology to deliver these very, very efficient, scalable services. So now they're doing online orders for independent pizza shops that didn't normally have their own e-commerce shop, and didn't have it integrated into their systems properly. They're picking up the phone for those small businesses and doing automated pizza orders. They're actually doing bulk purchasing of pizza boxes and all this. So they've expanded into all these services that help make those pizza shops more efficient and profitable, and apparently are doing a heck of a job. But that's because everything that they're delivering from a service perspective, they've figured out how to do it with incredible efficiency and scalability so that they can just turn on a new pizza shop, boom, 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 right? So as long as what you're doing, you are always keeping in mind, hey, what's the super scalable, efficient version of this? So that right now, these customers are my laboratory and I'm digging in deep. But the idea is to create something that can then just be a little snap-on system that I can just deliver to somebody like that. That's key, because if at every single one of these businesses, you're going to have to continue doing this lift, can you go from $20,000 a month to $50,000 a month, and maybe you're perfectly happy with that, and that's winning, awesome. Then yes, I believe that you can do that. If you are telling me that you want to go beyond that and you want to have free time and things like that, I would say that it's just got to be all about efficiency, scalability. Cool. Awesome, man. It's good to see your face.
Likewise, man. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, let's see here. We've got, in regards to picking a niche, is it Tanzilla? Either way, cool name. In regards to picking a niche, if I'm only offering reputation management, do you still suggest niching down to one industry? Yeah, so reputation management in particular is a very, very competitive field, right? Reputation management has been around for a long, long, long time. So yes, I do recommend that you niche down and that you have a very, very dialed in process for that niche. Because if you are just selling kind of your typical, like, we're going to get you reviews, and there's nothing wrong with that being a component of your service, I should say, but there are so many services that are out there offering that if you're going to do just reputation and plan to make like a nice, business out of that, I would pick one industry and just get like super dialed in that you have this unique process for that industry. And ideally, I would try and make it as high value of an industry as possible. So I'm just completely making something up here. This is not based on any research or anything like that. But let's say like cosmetic surgeons, right? An industry where every single customer can be worth a lot of money to that business. And I think that there is a sensitivity from your client and also from their client about how they would share information related to a review or a reputation. You know what I mean? I don't know. Again, I'm just imagining this, but I think that the way that plastic or cosmetic surgeon wants to get feedback and have that feedback out in the marketplace is different than a pizza shop, right? Where a pizza shop, it's like, hey, 5-star review. They delivered my hot pizza with a little comment from, Bob. I got my pizza delivered on time and it was hot. Woohoo! Like that's a great, reputation process for the pizza shop. For the cosmetic surgeon, I would think that there's something more thoughtful there that you could create a very specific process around that would then be very valuable. Okay. Awesome, Raul. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Where did that? Ryan says, planning to target electricians with no website. What do you think about pitching a free website if they pay in full the base package or maybe the mid-tier package? Ryan, I love it. I'm a big fan of the free website model. So I'm a huge fan of that. In fact, if you look, Ryan, I don't know if you're in high leverage agency or my program's there, but if you look at my service design packages, I recommend that the base package that you always look to include a website in your base package when it makes sense for your customers, because it's just a super high value proposition. And with high level, it's super easy to deliver that. So anything, any of you, if you're selling, marketing services to a small business and you're able to say, hey, look, sign up for our $397 a month super duper marketing system. And by the way, we've taken a good look at your website. It really needs a lot of work. And what we think would be best is if you just got a brand new website. I know that's probably out of reach for a lot of small businesses because, you know, it's oftentimes quoted at like $10,000 or whatever for a new custom website. But we can actually include that in the onboarding of our super duper marketing system for you, and then make that based on whatever you want. If you want to make it based on them prepaying or buying the biggest package or whatever, go for it. But the reality is it's easy for you to deliver, and it's super high perceived value and super sticky, right? Like if you get that customer, you know, you're my website provider and you've got all this awesome marketing stuff hooked into my website now, it's very hard for them to leave you at that point. So I'm a huge fan. Carl Jackson says, I'm planning on offering part 2. Awesome. I'm planning on offering the base package for $297 a month and offering UpHacks access management for an extra $300 a month. Yeah, I think that sounds great. Yeah, I think that sounds great. And I love that market because those markets, you should be able to get results from ads pretty clearly and quickly. I know, Marsha, right? ChatGPT is rad. AI still needs to be monitored and tweaked, which most business owners won't want to focus on. Absolutely. Awesome. Awesome, Gary. You should post some live calls, would be very helpful. Live calls, me doing live calls with customers. I very rarely do live calls with customers, Alex, anymore. I mean, I can do, you know, live, like strategic sales calls, but I don't do any cold prospecting or anything like that anymore, ever. So, Nathan Mendel, you can use high levels, emails, and SMS validator. Okay, cool. Matt says, I'm getting started and planning to focus locally. How should I pick a niche? Do I need to go broader than local if I'm giving one niche all the same stuff? Yeah, so Matt, if you are going hyper local, choosing a niche may not be the best idea. Your niche may be that you're local and that you have businesses in a variety of niches that are similar enough that you've decided to take them on, right? So like in any local market, you know, related to home services, there's actually a ton of businesses related to home services. And so you could say in San Diego, I'm the home services marketing guru. And that would still give you a bunch of different types of businesses. So, you know, you've got to decide though, if you're going to focus just on one like niche, chiropractors, you're going to quickly have to go outside of just one local market, right? So you've just got to make that decision. If I were focused just locally, like I am here in San Diego with my media business there, San Diego, there would be a handful of industries that the service delivery characteristics are similar enough that I would say, yes, I can handle all of those. As soon as the service delivery characteristics start to get a bit too far outside of your standard service delivery, then, you know, your efficiency and profitability in your business starts to break. So let's just give an example. If I'm doing a bunch of, you know, plumbers, roofing contractors, landscapers, all that type of stuff, all these home services related things, and then a high-end attorney wants to hire me. And I say, yes, it's a high-end attorney, and they spend a bunch of money, right? Yeah, but dealing with that high-end attorney from a service delivery perspective is totally different than those other businesses, and that's going to cause things to break. Okay. Yeah, E-Myth and Clockwork. Yeah, absolutely. You bet. Awesome. Let's see here. Sales goal equals get them to ask themselves, where do I get my system? Yeah, absolutely, Raul. Marcia says, this is at a higher price points done for you, though, right, Mike? You don't have to limit customers with the SaaS model. Well, Marcia, if all you're doing, again, is offering the SaaS, then theoretically, no. But what I'm telling you is that in almost all cases, just offering the SaaS is a wrong idea, right? You're going to offer a marketing system. And that marketing system is going to take some sort of initial setup and hand-holding by you with the customer versus them just coming to your website, putting in a credit card. I signed up for your SaaS platform. Now I'm off to the races, right? That is, in most cases, not going to be your customer base, okay? So if you are, and why do I say that? Let me be clear about why do I say that, okay? Because you're like, well, Mike, there's all these SaaS platforms that's exactly what they're doing. ConvertKit and HubSpot and whatever. They're all selling these customers by having them just come and put in a credit card and sign up. That is true. So you are now, if you think you're just going to hang your high-level SaaS hat shingle, out there in the marketplace and compete with ConvertKit and HubSpot, you're in big trouble for a couple of reasons. One, those guys have massive budgets now. HubSpot in particular, holy cow, they have massive marketing infrastructure, and your software is pure commodity, right? Okay, Marcia says that wasn't my intention. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure for you, but also for the benefit of anybody else listening that's coming into this industry, coming into that agency space around high level, is that everybody else in the agency community now has access to the same software. You're completely commoditized. So that is the definition of a bad business model, right? So we have to offer something bigger than just the software, right? Which is the system, if you follow my approach. So Marcia, so there will be that initial onboarding and setup that you will still have some limitations to. It is dramatically more scalable than the typical agency model. So even with systemizing to scale, you would limit to 3 to 5? No. So I would say, Marcia, that I was referring back to my IT business. My IT business was much, much, much more like you had to dig into what's the network and what's the software and what are the settings and all this for all these, all the computers and all that. It was much more hands-on, nitty-gritty to onboard a new customer. To compare and contrast, Marcia, when I then started my marketing systems business, Kutenda, I brought on over 300 new customers in a month. So now that's the extreme side. I don't suggest that you try and do that either, because that was a total nightmare of people working 24/7 to onboard those customers as quickly as we could without without imploding. So I don't recommend that either. I think that, Marcia, if you really dial in using snapshots, using custom values, you've got a specific system that you are bringing your customers onto, even with just some very junior talent that you train up to help you, to help install those snapshots and set up the new accounts and stuff. Now, I mean, you can easily scale up to, if you have the volume to support it, you can easily scale up to 50 new customers a month. It's just like, it's got to be just like a factory, right? Like every customer essentially gets the same thing with minor customization. You've got a whole process around it. You've trained some people to be able to do that. Yeah, you could bring on 50 new customers a month. And maybe even more. That's just a number I'm just, pulling out. But if you were like, if it was just you, Marcia, and you have not got to the point where you're hiring and training any people to help you, and so you're going to be doing the service delivery, and you're going to be doing your sales, and you're going to be doing all your support and all that type of stuff for a period of time, I think that 3 to 5 new each month is actually a great probably number to consider. Because if you look at the simple model that I've created for you, the simple revenue modeling that I've created for you, even at 3 to 5 new customers a month in the first year, you can get up to $25,000 a month or more in revenue. So you can generate some nice income doing it. So you don't have to go too much faster than that. And if you try to go too much faster than that before you really have your systems nailed down, you're probably going to upset some people and get some bad reputation out there. So I do think that that's a good number. Like I said, if it's just you and you're doing the hustle, that's a good number to plan on for the first 6 months until you really nail down your systems, that type of thing. Then I think you can expand from there by hiring some additional people and having that, having them help you with that onboarding process. Awesome. Ryan says, it would be great to know revenue lists, but I don't think it'll be a regular occurrence to find business that feel comfortable doing that. Yes, I agree with that, Ryan. I agree with that. I think that the only way that that happens effectively is if you are their revenue tracking system, right? So if you are literally providing the e-commerce system that they're operating through so that you can see all the numbers, hey, you were at this and now you're at this. I think that that's the only way that that really works well long-term. Yep. How can I get info on high leverage solution? Oh, high leverage agency. If you go to, thanks for the ask. Thank you for the opportunity to plug. If you go to, where's that? Here we go. servicesthatscale.com/HLA. servicesthatscale.com/HLA will take you to the sales page for high leverage agency, where you'll be able to get all the details on it. So thank you very much. High leverage agency is offered free to those who sign up for high level through me. So that is the ideal way. And if you are already a high level customer, but you are not on pro yet, you can upgrade through me and you will get high leverage agency for free. Okay. As long as you upgrade to pro through me, then you can get it for free that way as well. Okay. Danny says, I'm wanting to offer free websites to business owners as a benefit of making a donation to a local nonprofit. That's awesome, Danny. I totally do that. Do you think it's better to add something to the package up front or start upselling little by little? What I like, Danny, is I like that you have the website and you provide, what we would call super hosting. Okay, so super hosting, like $97 a month, we provide the hosting of your site, but it's not just hosting. We're also proactively doing updates and maintenance, things like that of the hosting environment for you, security, all that stuff, which needs to be done in hosting. But high level takes care of all that for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And then also included in that, though, is that I would make sure that the website that I'm building for them has the chat widget, has opt-in forms on it, has a call tracking number on it, and that all of those things then lead into high level. And in that base fee, you include basic access to just the core CRM functionality of high level and the conversation functionality of high level, so that now that they can see that their website is not just brochureware, it's part of a marketing system, right? There we go again with that stinking marketing system talk. Now they can see, oh, wow, look at this. We're able to log into the system, see the activity that's being generated from our website, as well as from our other social channels and stuff, because now this conversations capability is integrated with all those. So in this one spot, we can follow up with our prospects and communicate with them, right? Now you're adding value way beyond just a website, and you're pulling them into the overall system. So that would be the ideal setup scenario, okay? And then once they're in there, I personally don't like to upsell somebody until I've delivered the value of the first service, okay? So in other words, get that all set up for them, show them, here's this awesome capability, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of that call, you can say, I would like to take the opportunity, if we can just take a few more minutes here, to introduce you to the other things that we can do for you. If you are ready for those things now, here's a special offer for you. If you're not ready for those things, don't worry, they're available. We'll circle back in a few months, see how you're doing, and see if it's a good fit in that, right? I think that that's an ideal upsell process, okay? Nathan says, starting to go through the courses after using your high-level affiliate, is there a specific order you recommend watching these? R4, Bootcamp, Accelerator? Yeah. So Nathan, good question. If you are, I don't know where you're at in your business. Like, are you just starting from scratch, that type of thing? If you're just starting from scratch, I would say go through Accelerator and go through the Services That Scale Foundation course. Don't spend a ton of time in there. Don't get lost in the weeds or anything like that. But I think it's really important that you understand the core concepts of what works in this industry in terms of creating a scalable business. You know, like what are some of the metrics and margins and service structures and things like that are proven. Like I said, don't get lost in the weeds there. Kind of get through it quickly, but let that stuff kind of soak in. And then while you're doing that, or even before you do that, I should say, make sure that you're getting high level set up. So I recommend that everybody does the basic onboarding package that High Level offers. I think it's like $297, where they go through and they actually make sure the High Level is set up properly with you. I highly recommend doing that. You'll learn a lot from that. Then I recommend that you go through my agency sales funnel bootcamp. Okay. What that's going to do is it's going to get you introduced to my R4 sales system. It's going to get you the assets of an agency sales process. So landing pages, you know, customer call booking campaigns and the follow-up sequences and all that good stuff that go along with that. And most importantly, while you're setting that up, you're learning about the key functionality of High Level. To set that up for yourself, you're going to be learning these key, you know, features and functionality of High Level. So you're getting some confidence and some knowledge on how to use the system. And then if you're new to the space, highly recommend you just jump into High Leverage Agency. High Leverage Agency is my most like turnkey, like just go through this and just spend the rest of your time in here until your business is 7 figures. Like just do that. If you're already an existing agency and you're saying, hey, Mike, I've already got these services I sell. I just want to know how to sell them better and, you know, and stuff like that. Go into R4. That sounds good. If you want to completely design your services around the philosophies of Services That Scale, and you have existing services and you're saying, Mike, I want to sell these things. I just want to do it more efficiently. Go into my MSP Academy. Okay. Difference between High Leverage Agency and MSP Academy. MSP Academy teaches you how to design your services with the Services That Scale concepts. Okay. So let's say your service is you're a podcast editing agency. Okay. Awesome. I can teach you how to apply concepts to make that as scalable and efficient as possible. That's what MSP Academy does. If you're saying, I don't have an agency yet, or I have an agency that's not really profitable, I don't really know what I'm doing, I just want to serve small businesses, and I'd like to know the best way to do it, go through a High Leverage Agency. High Leverage Agency, I teach you sell it this way at these price points using these resources, right? So one is High Leverage Agency is meant to be very much more like a paint by numbers as much as you can. And the MSP Academy is much more of a, like me strategically advising you based on my experience on how to design your services the right way if you've already got some services that you're offering. Okay. I hope that helps. And then I would say the most important thing, Nathan, get in the community, ask questions, come on these calls. Let me know anytime you're stuck. If you feel like what's the next thing I need to be doing, I'm happy to help. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So have you ever worked with anyone running an agency in the trucking industry? I have not. No, that's interesting. I have not. I have a client that uses Calendly. Can Go High Level replace Calendly? Effectively, yes, Paul. And I say effectively only because there are certainly some industries or some users of Calendly that have some super duper feature of Calendly that they want that maybe High Level doesn't have, but High Level's calendar functionality is super powerful at this point. Let's see here. Ryan says, can we buy High Leverage Agency? Yes. Yep. You just go to servicesthatscale.com/HLA. Yep. Then you can absolutely get it there. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Marcia. And okay, cool. Does HLA have system snapshots? Yes. And implementation coaching guidance? Yes. Both of those. I I need to put all the snapshots on that page. It's something I actually have planned on doing here today or over the weekend, because I get asked that all the time, and I've been a knucklehead and not put the snapshots that are on there. Yes, there's a whole bunch of snapshots. You get the core R4 snapshot plus a bunch of service snapshots as well. And then you get access to Moguls, which is my private group where we do these calls. So we do a call like this for Moguls every week, and then we do these office hours. So you will have more private access to me to ask any questions and get guidance there. Okay. The link for MSP Academy, it should be servicesthatscale.com/MSPA. That should be for MSP Academy. If that is not working, let me know, and I will make sure it gets working soon. But that should work. Servicesthatscale.com/MSPA for MSP Academy. Okay. And again, I want to stress MSP Academy. I only recommend at this point, if you have services, you have an agency, you have services that you're offering or you want to offer that are like, again, we're a podcast editing agency, Mike. I don't want to go through high leverage agency and be told I should be offering reputation and blah, 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 blah. We're a podcast editing agency. Awesome. Do that. MSP Academy will teach you everything that I've learned about how to design those services and as effectively as possible to make them as scalable as possible, make your operation as scalable as possible, make it as profitable as possible. Okay. So that's what MSP Academy is for. If a client already has their own CRM system, how do you convince them to use Go High Level instead? Or is there another way to bridge the gap? Awesome. Good question. Ryan says purchasing now. You sold me. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. So Alex, if the customer has their own CRM, so this is tricky, okay? Because a CRM can be a very painful, challenging thing to switch. I mean, I'm talking that can be months of planning and effort, depending on the size of that business and how much they've been using that CRM. And when I say the size of their business, they don't have to be that big. I mean, like I remember when I switched my CRM at Everon when we were about 15 employees. So we weren't like a huge company. And it was months of planning and transition and all that type of stuff. That was a total pain in the neck. So if you are going to do that with a company that's in that position, you really need to have your ducks in a row. And you really need to know why you're moving them into a new CRM, right? Like it's got to be a compelling reason. So I actually don't recommend that is your approach in most cases. What I would recommend is that you are focused on high level being a marketing automation set of tools. Okay. There's nothing out there that says that every small business just has to be using one set of tools that does everything for them, right? It's nice. It's nice if you can have one set of tools that does everything for you, but there's no rule of the universe that says that has to be the case. And in most cases, most businesses are not just using just one tool, right? So if you are focused on the marketing side of things, then there's all kinds of things that you can do with them using high level as the foundation of your service delivery that does not require them to switch CRMs. And you can probably then easily integrate the key data that's coming from that marketing activity into their CRM if that's what they want to do, right? So if they say, hey, look, we love that you're doing these lead generation campaigns for us, but we really need everybody that opts in. We need their information to show up in our CRM here because that's what our employees are using every day. Okay, then there's a number of ways that you can just get that data then over into their system for them. Like pretty much every system that's being used in today's world, you can integrate and move that data over into it. Okay, but you can build and host the website through high level. You can set up all the landing pages and sales funnels and all that stuff through high level. You can do all of the immediate response campaigns related to all of that activity in high level. And then again, at a certain point, you and your customer determine here's when this contact information gets moved over here, and here's what's included, in that integration. That's the way that I recommend that you approach it. Okay. Nathan says, thank you. I run a video production company. Oh, cool. Awesome. Found high level, and I'm interested in doing this on the side to help companies that can't afford high production value vids. Yeah. I mean, I think, Nathan, like if you are in a position that any of these small businesses that you're working with or that you're coming across are asking you to help them with marketing, then I think it's awesome to have high level as a back pocket thing, and you could probably start creating a really, really nice secondary income that's recurring revenue from that. If your current customers, since you're doing a video production company, if your current customers are not really looking for help with their marketing, though, they just want video production, right? And there's a difference, right? If I'm whatever big company here in San Diego and I hire a video production company, I may just want you to, hey man, just make the videos, make really nice videos, edit them for me. Here's what we're doing. I want it to look good. I want you to be there, film it, edit it, all that type of stuff. I don't care about your strategies on my marketing or that you're integrating this into whatever campaigns for me or anything like that. Just edit the video, right? So those are two different customers. You'll have to then decide, does it make sense for you to be spending the time and energy doing more of the marketing angle that high level would allow you to get into? Because that might end up being a distraction, So you just have to determine kind of what's the right fit for you there. Gene says, do you recommend, what's up, Gene? Do you recommend newish businesses to brand on YouTube as their own name or their company name? So personal brand or company brand. I think that the most powerful thing in the world, and I completely flip-flopped on this just a couple of years ago, which is why my YouTube channel is now Mike Cooch. I think that the most powerful thing in the world is a personal brand. I say the most powerful thing in the world. The most powerful thing in the world that you and I can develop is a personal brand. Because what that allows you to do then is direct the attention and the relationship currency that you develop with your community to different things, right? So this is why The Rock is able to get people to his movies and to his tequila company and to whatever else he's doing, is because people love The Rock. This is why Gary Vee has 7 different businesses that he started after he became Gary Vee on YouTube, and the list goes on and on. So if you are committed to and comfortable doing that, it's awesome. And I do not say that lightly. You do have to be committed to it and comfortable with it, because I was not committed to it or comfortable with it when I initially started putting videos up on YouTube, which is why they were under a business brand at first. Because even though I love training and I want to have this role in a community of entrepreneurs, I do not want to be a guru. I do not want that to be my role in the world at this time in my life. I want to be a entrepreneur, and I have a lot to share, and I love to share it, but I am an entrepreneur. And so I was actually conflicted about that, because I was like, I don't want my name out there. I don't want it to be like I'm trying to be Mike the Guru. But then I realized that from a long-term business perspective, it's actually a mistake. If I market Mike and you develop a relationship with me, and 5 years from now, I start a business doing something totally different, then I can direct a lot of my community, assuming my community, gets big enough, I can direct a lot of people to that thing and have a built-in customer base, marketing base, all that type of stuff. So, it's super powerful, again, if you're willing to and committed to it and all that good stuff. If you are not, then just do the company brand. Awesome. And if you are, and then there's the exception that I would say is, let's say it's like a real local business, like you're starting up the, it's a local plumbing business, home repair business, whatever. It probably makes sense in that case to just be creating content as that local business. And there's gray area here, and it can be done either way. Like, I think if you're a real estate agent, it's a really good idea to just do your personal brand, right? Because people really are buying from you personally, and you may switch agencies, and you may not just be a real estate agent. You may decide to also do real estate investments and whatever. So you may just want people to really know you. Versus if you have a plumbing company that you got 25 plumbers driving around in trucks, and you're starting some YouTube content. This might be a bad example, but I could see like a landscaping company, and you want to create YouTube content about, hey, there's these beautiful backyards, and here's how we remodel this, and here's some strategies on how in the San Diego fall, when the season changes a little bit, you may want to do this to your yard to keep the backyard as healthy as possible. Like, that could be some good YouTube content, but I would probably do that as Mike's landscaping company versus Mike Cooch, or San Diego landscapers, that type of thing. So that's a long answer. There's gray area there. It's hard to give like a super definitive, but hopefully that helps, Gene. What makes Go High Level any different from other CRMs? I know there's a lot of bells and whistles, but it seems to me in a nutshell, Go High Level is simply another CRM. Massive, massive, massive difference for you, the agency that is serving small businesses, okay? The massive, massive, massive difference is that it is designed to be used by an agency to deliver services to the small business. That's the massive difference, okay? Features wise and all that type of stuff, it's going to be very similar to, a ton of other software platforms. And that's why I tell people, don't just sell the software platform. But almost none of those software platforms are designed for you and I to make a living by delivering it to small businesses, right? Some will give you like a referral fee, a small commission referral fee or whatever. High Level's entire model is to make you, the agency, profitable, okay, by delivering good value to the small businesses. But why is that such a major, major, major game-changing difference? Because High Level knows that the far majority of small businesses will not just buy and use tools. So you can have 1,000 CRMs out there that are exactly like High Level. It won't matter to the far majority of small businesses because they will not just buy those and use those. They're not marketers. They're not going to sit down and figure it out. They're running their pizza shop. So in order for High Level to impact small businesses the way that they want to, which is the ultimate goal, how do we lift up all these small businesses, right? In order for them to accomplish that, they know that there has to be a helping hand. There has to be somebody that is helping those small businesses. And in order for there to be somebody helping those small businesses, they have to have a profitable model. And this is the best profitable model, is to allow them to wrap their services around this software platform that they get to keep the margins on. So that is the major, major difference. That is the major, major differentiator, is not the features and functions of the software from an end user perspective. It's the features and functions that have been designed in to allow an agency to have a profitable business serving those customers, right? I can essentially act as if the software platform is mine and I keep all the margin, right? That is unheard of. So, but that's what it takes for there to be a profitable agency model. They know that, because if you look in the history of this industry in small businesses, there's no profitable agency model. There's a bunch of agencies running around making a couple of bucks here and there, but there's no scalable business that's done real well. Why? Because the agency model with small businesses sucks. It's broken. It has to be based on technology and assets and automation instead. So that's the big difference. Okay. And it's a critical difference. Okay. I hope that helps. Alex says, makes sense. Thank you. Any interesting new developments on the AI front? Oh man, Alex, I could go on and on for hours and hours and hours about all the new developments on the AI front. I feel like, gosh, that's like a totally separate call. I would say, here's what I would say to sum it up. And this is a fascinating conversation to me, because I just had dinner with some really good friends the other night. This guy's, I mean, an MIT master's degree, super smart, super successful, one of my longest term best friends. And we literally got into a shouting match at this restaurant, because, and a good natured shouting match. Because, I mean, one, I love to debate. So if anybody wants to debate, I'll debate until I'm out of breath, just because I think it's fun. So I wasn't going to let him just get away with challenging me on this. He was like, man, AI is just nothing. It's just completely overblown. He and his wife had never even used ChatGPT before, and they were just absolutely 100% convinced that this is just another thing. It's another buzzy thing that's going to be nothing 6 months from now. It's no different than, NFTs, Mike. NFTs were this big deal, a long time, a year ago. And now look, and I think he's completely insane. So I would say that what I am doing on the AI front is I am trying my very best to keep up with and listen to who are the smartest, brightest people in the industry, so I can understand where they're seeing things going, what they see the opportunities are, what they see the concerns are, all that type of stuff. I think that there is both really awesome upside potential. I think that there's also some completely catastrophic things that can happen, at least for a period of time, more like social concerns and stuff like that, social unrest, people losing their jobs too fast, versus like the AI just taking over and the robots killing us. But I think that the thing that I continue to hear, and it just blows my mind, is that this stuff is developing so fast and is so incredibly powerful that it is completely mind-blowing, and we just are not quite seeing it yet. And it's gonna happen so fast when we do. So what do I mean by that as examples? So just a few months ago, and you can still hear this, you will see people, well, AI could never replace, programmers, because programming is like an art, whatever, right? And then I just heard recently that 41%, and this is as of like a month or two ago, 41% of all of the code on GitHub now is written by AI. 41%. And this was a couple of months ago. And GitHub, for anybody who doesn't know, it's like a marketplace of code. It's like where coders go and they like share, code snippets and stuff, so that you can easily grab some code you need and accelerate the progress on your software development and stuff like that. So not everybody's starting from scratch, right? 41% of the code now written by AI that's on there. I mean, that's mind-boggling. Okay, so even if you say, well, programmers can never be replaced, well, okay, even if we don't have to go to that extreme and say they're all going to be replaced. We can just say, look, 41% of the code up there already is written by AI, and AI is just now starting to get momentum. It's pretty easy to see that 99% of the code could be written by AI pretty darn quickly, right? And there will still be programmers, but their role in the world is going to change. And the fact that Mike Cooch, very quickly, Mike Cooch, who doesn't know how to program a damn thing, will be able to create and launch my own software platforms here very quickly. I could already do it now, knowing some of the tools that I know of out there, but it'd still be a little bit probably harder for me and take me some time to figure out, versus a year from now. I think that Mike Cooch will be able to launch a dang software platform pretty lickety split, as long as it's not like some ultra complex thing, right? So that stuff's just happening fast, and it's the progress. So I was listening to the founder of the company that makes Midjourney. Which AI company is that? I get all their names. Anyway, he was saying that just it was like 6 months ago or whatever with Midjourney, they could make an image every 60 seconds. Essentially, it would take like 60 seconds to create a new image from scratch, right? He was saying that now, and again, this is a couple months ago, and it's all accelerating very rapidly. He was saying that now they were at 60 images a second. Okay, so it used to take one image 60 seconds. Now it's 60 images in 1 second. That's just in like a handful of months of progress. Okay. He was saying that their ability to condense all of the code necessary to run like a full chat GPT model will be available on your phone without an internet connection. Without an internet connection, will be available on your phone here before the year is over. So what is he saying there? He's saying that you will have your own personal chat GPT that will not be reliant on access to the internet to get any of its processing capacity or power, or have to look online to get the information that you're looking for. As in, they will be able to compress so much information so small that it will be able to fit on your phone just as any other app would, and give you the ability to essentially have chat GPT functionality as we know it today, just on your phone, even if you're not connected online. Like, insane. Here's another mind-boggling one. Again, this is one that just, when you think, this to me just makes me realize how small probably all of us on this call are thinking about this and how big it actually is. I just read yesterday, there was a new company that just started. Get this, because this is going to blow your mind. All right, I realize I'm rambling here, and I'll get you guys off the phone here pretty soon. But Inflection AI, relatively new company, raised $1.5 billion. Okay, $1.5 billion. They invested $880 million of that $1.5 billion, $880 million of it to create one computer, one new computer for processing AI functions. Hey, what's up, Colby? You came at a funny time here. $880 million. It has 22,000 of the new NVIDIA AI GPUs on it. Each of those GPUs is currently worth $40,000. $40,000 GPUs. It has 22,000 of those in a single computer. Like, again, my brain can barely process what in the hell must be going on in that computer, and in the expectations of what AI is going to be doing to justify the need for an $880 million computer with 22,000 NVIDIA GPUs in it. And if you're not familiar with the new NVIDIA GPUs, they are freakish breakthroughs in performance. Like, they are taking Moore's Law, if you're familiar with Moore's Law, and starting to accelerate Moore's Law again. And that is 22,000 of those suckers stuck into a single computer. So it's just, I think that we are all right now, like, you and I, we're all in here like, hey, can I create, a YouTube script using ChatGPT? Yeah, you sure as heck can. That's awesome. Let's get in there and do it. And we should all be doing that. But where it's going is so far beyond that, so fast that my mind is boggled all day, every day. And I think that it is incredibly fascinating, full of so much upside potential that it's hard to imagine, and yet is somewhat scary as shit because, 4 months ago or so now, IBM said that they were cutting 40% of their job postings for a bunch of professional positions because they just weren't going to need those people anymore because of AI. That's a lot of jobs. 40% of those jobs at IBM, right? And that was months ago. So there's going to be this turbulence that is going to happen that I think is going to be shocking for a lot of people. And I personally, I just find it all so exciting. And I think that we all just have to stay on our toes and just be aggressive about learning, keeping up, keeping optimistic, all that I think is, I just think it's fascinating. And I could do a whole YouTube channel on that alone. Gaming industry will forever be changed. NPC characters can now have a whole backstory. Oh my gosh. Savoir faire, whoever you are, the geek in you is excited. The geek in me is so excited. I saw these demonstrations. He is not kidding. I saw these demonstrations of gaming going forward where what Savoir faire is saying here is that you can literally go into a game now, and there's the game generated character that's walking around in the game that usually you run up and you whack them with a sword or whatever your game is, right? That you'll now be able to introduce yourself to that character, have a conversation with that character. That character has a life and a personality and history and experiences and goals and desires and dreams. And that person will be able to communicate and interact with you in real time based on your interactions with them, all created in real time by AI to drive the experience that you want to have in the game. It's no longer a character that has to be just programmed in advance and told this is what you say when a character walks up to you at this point in the game. You tell them the clue is, blah, blah, and then you walk away, right? No, it'll actually be like a person inside the game, except for it's not. It's just AI real time developing that character as you're interacting with it. It's insane. It really is. Awesome. But I can only see the free email help. Okay, awesome. We will get that straightened out for you, Ryan. No sweat. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. Thanks, Alex. Got any recommendations for people sources to follow? Yes, I think that the shortcut on all this, for me personally, is Peter Diamandis. Peter Diamandis has an excellent podcast and an excellent newsletter. And the reason why I like him as a shortcut is that he thinks he is approaching all of this stuff with a very entrepreneurial lens. So that makes it resonate to me. It's not just like a scientific lens, but he is also enough of a scientist that when he's interviewing some of these founders and stuff that he has access to, he asks enough kind of substance to the questions that you get let's hear what's the there. I highly recommend his podcast and newsletter, Peter Diamandis, who, if you're not familiar with Peter Diamandis, you all should be familiar with him and studying him. And I mean, what a brilliant freaking guy. He's the guy who created the X Prize, right? That has created so many incredible companies and stuff. And he's a founder of 37 different companies and just an amazing character. Peter, hold on, it's a good question. His last name, Peter Diamandis. And he is the founder of Singularity University. So clearly he's got some interest in all of this stuff. And what I'll do here is I'll just put in the URL for his personal site right there. Yep. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So that is, diamandis.com. If you go there, you can find all of his various resources. Fascinating character. Okay, let's see here. Right there. Yeah, it's hard to keep up. It really is. And honestly, I don't think that you can keep up with all of it, Colby. I think that's actually, I mean, that is the nature that summarizes the very nature of the potential problem, right? We can't keep up with it. There's no way. So that's the issue. So that either ends up helping us or hurting us, right? Depending on if you're optimistic or pessimistic about this. If you're pessimistic, that's because we're creating this new alien that's going to be a billion times smarter than us and then want to crush us. Or it's a billion times smarter than us and is a tool for us to use, but you can't keep up with it. It's already, so I heard recently on the Peter Diamandis podcast, they were saying that the last assessment that they did, this is again a handful of months ago, said that ChatGPT had reached an IQ of like 158 and like Einstein was like 162. So, and it's accelerating dramatically. And so this guy that they were interviewing was, he's saying, that in the next couple of years that it's thousands of times smarter than the smartest human being. So you can't keep up with it. We have a couple clients that are currently looking for a CRM and are looking at some established systems that high level can beat hands down. How would you market that without saying it's go high level? You should just white label it as whatever your brand is. So, the super CRM, right? So you're going to create your own logo, your own name, all that type of stuff, and you will white label the high level platform as your super CRM. So when the customer goes in there, they're going to see a super CRM logo, super CRM domain name, all that type of stuff. That's the way you do it. And there's always, of course, possibility that they're going to, hey, this is built on this platform high level. And so you just have to have your response ready for that. And the response should never be to lie or mislead about it. Yes, it is. Absolutely. High level is a platform that is designed for service providers such as myself that we white label and we provide all the service and support around. There is no direct access to high level itself, other than for our agency partners like us, right? All good. I'm new to marketing, go high level industry. Is there any AI features that I should be leveraging on as a beginner? Yeah. So Colby, good question. So high level is just now really rolling out some updates in terms of AI integration into high level. And so I would immediately jump in and start learning about those, because there's some really, really cool stuff that you can do there in terms of automating some of the communication and things like that you have with your customers, but also more importantly, automating or building that AI automation into the service that you're delivering for your customers. So that, let's give you an example. Somebody comes to my chat widget right now on my website. It sends me an SMS and then I respond to it personally, right? I can also drive those people into a workflow and have some automated response to that chat, but it's limited, right? Pretty soon it will be pretty unlimited because it'll be leveraging AI, and so that AI is starting to get to the point already where it can just be like very conversational and learn and adapt and have the right conversation with that customer or that prospect, even without you being involved. So, that stuff's getting pretty crazy. I would hop into all of that, Colby, right away and just start studying it like crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Let's see here. Learning the industry is already a massive learning curve, but so is AI. I just want to get my priorities straight as a beginner. Yeah, Colby, I would not obsess about trying to learn AI in general. Because, like I said, we can't keep up with it, like, unless that's your full-time job, right? So I would obsess about learning how to use AI in high level to deliver value to your small business customers. I would obsess about that. Okay. Can you give info on what R4 is? Yeah, Ryan. So R4 is the sales methodology that I developed for my salespeople at my agency business years ago to train them quickly on how to sell to small business owners as if they were guides and peers of those small business owners. And so what I mean by that, Ryan, is I had a bunch of young salespeople, hired 25-year-olds and stuff like that, right? And they did not really know marketing. They weren't marketing experts, right? And so when they would go to sell to these small business owners, it would very quickly come across to the small business owner. They're like, what, who are you, sitting here telling me what to do? Like, you're not an expert in this stuff. So they would come across just as salespeople, and it made it very hard for them to be successful. And so I created the R4 to give them a framework and scripts to be able to quickly learn how to communicate to the small business owner in a way that made them come across, if not necessarily as experts, because they weren't experts, but that wasn't even necessary, but as guides to be able to communicate to the small business owner. Here are the things that you need to be doing with your marketing. You're probably not, right, as my guess, and it's causing you challenges. And here's how we can solve those challenges. Does that all make sense to you? It's very visual. It's very simple. And it uses completely non-industry jargon language. So we don't get caught in all the weeds of features and cool technology and all that stuff. We talk to the business owner in a way that they understand. First R is your reputation. Ryan, I'm sure you understand as a business owner how critical your reputation is. And the fact that you've been in business for as long as you have tells me you know how important it is, and you're working your tail off every day to build it and protect it. And you do that by delivering a great service and taking care of your customers, right? And Ryan goes, yeah, of course. Awesome. Well, the thing is that your reputation has become much, much more than just those interactions with your prospects and customers. It's now what people are saying about you online. It's what they experience when they come to your website. It's what they experience when they try and find you in the search engines. It's what they experience when they go to Instagram and they send you a DM and you respond or not. All of these things now impact your reputation. It can feel like it's pretty out of control, can it? Yeah, I don't have time for all that shit. Yeah, we understand. But that's why it's incredibly important that you have a system in place to proactively build and nurture that reputation. So that's the first R. The second R is reach, okay, or resell. If you're doing a good job of taking care of that reputation and getting new customers in the door, like you've obviously been doing for years, I'm sure you understand that your most valuable customers are the ones that come back to you over and over again. Ryan says, of course, yeah, great. But most businesses leave that to chance. What we want to do is put in a deliberate system to make sure that you are strategically bringing those customers back as often as you can and reselling them so that you're maximizing that lifetime value of the customer and the profitability of your business. Does that make sense? Yes. Awesome. So it goes on like that, but we're just using normal language that every small business owner would understand. And that framework that I just started there is something that, Ryan, you can sit down and learn in the afternoon and start using it to sell and come across as a guide with confidence and totally change how you're selling. So that then became something that I used to train agencies in the industry, and I've developed scripts, collateral, landing pages, all that stuff, ads, everything around it, so that you have this just really complete selling system. Okay. You bet, Colby. Let's see. What do you think will be the real companies leveraging? What do you think will be the real differentiation between companies leveraging software and AI as we progress into the future? I'm thinking customer service, but I could be wrong. The real differentiation between companies leveraging software and AI as we progress into the future. I'm thinking customer service, but I could be wrong. Boy, that's a good question. I tend to agree. I heard somebody talking about this the other day, some successful entrepreneur or investor or whatever, that he was saying, there will essentially be the companies that fully leverage AI, and then there will be the companies that go away. And I tend to believe that that's true in almost all industries. And I say almost all industries because, as an example, if I think some industries, it's actually going to go the opposite direction. Let me give you what I mean by that. Is like, if you are running a restaurant in my community here, I think the more crazy digital and efficient and all this type of stuff goes, the more I am personally willing to pay for and drive out of my way to experience a really awesome, hands-on, old school restaurant experience where I go in and talk to people, and a good waiter or waitress comes by my table and serves me and leads me through what's on the menu. And maybe I get to peek into the kitchen and see chefs cutting stuff and chopping stuff. I think that those kinds of things will actually be considered more and more of an art in our society, where we recognize the beauty of it and will spend even more of our money and time on those things. And the reason I say that is because everything else is going to go so stinking efficient and digital that I think as human beings, we're really going to crave those real things, the tangible things, right? So going to a concert, I think, is even that much more valuable today than it was 20 years ago, because it's so easy for us to sit at home and work on computers and do all this type of stuff now, that if you can get me into a crowded room with loud, sweating people jumping up and down and drinks spilling and blah, 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 it's even more exciting to me now than it was 20 years ago, because it's like, I need this, right? I need this real contact. So certain businesses are going to go that way. Every other kind of business needs to go full on like AI and efficiency and software and all that type of stuff, or you're going to be a dinosaur. I really do believe that. So when you say customer service, absolutely. But think about marketing. Marketing will dramatically change. And let's talk about paid advertising specifically. Paid advertising is all about creating as many creatives as you possibly can to find, and when I say creatives, I mean the ads, the videos, whatever, to find the one that's going to work best with that audience at the moment right now. That's a very manual process right now. A year from now, that'll just be AI will spit out 1,000 different versions of an ad campaign for you. It will load it into Facebook. I mean, Facebook will be doing this in their own ad platform. It will test all the audiences for you, and it will just essentially self-run and self-manage campaigns for you. That is absolutely where that's going. So, marketing is going to change. But on the customer service side too, absolutely. I think there's almost no end. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of the data analysis and processing that you can do right now. So, I think everybody can see how, if you're just writing content or something like that, you could be very, very vulnerable to having a majority of your job displaced by AI very quickly. But I think a lot of us think, well, yeah, but what about the stuff where a human being has to think through how to analyze and solve a problem? If you haven't seen some of the demonstrations yet of what you can do with ChatGPT or Microsoft's tools or whatever, where you can just take a spreadsheet of raw data and just upload it, and within seconds, it will come back to you with graphs and analysis and charts and all this type of stuff, because it can so quickly look at what even is just raw data to you and I, and it can almost instantly process that data in so many various ways to see the trends and the patterns in the data, to be able to then present it back to you and go, oh, here's what this data is, here's what the key trends are, and here's what recommendations are based on those trends. I mean, it's mind-boggling. So that's work that would normally take, some analyst who's really good with statistics and modeling and all that type of stuff, like weeks of work, and it can be done instantly with AI. So how you're getting data, how you're using data, all that is going to change just dramatically. It's hard to imagine anything other than like really tangible experiences. It's really hard to imagine what isn't going to be dramatically impacted by it. See the leverage in researching the background and starting the content for marketing. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, doing like avatar research and stuff like that. It's really, really cool with AI, for sure. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for letting me rant. That was fun. I enjoy talking about this stuff. I enjoy reading and learning about this stuff. I'm borderline obsessed with it. I think the opportunities are incredible. And like I said, I think it's just important we all stay on our toes, stay optimistic. I think it's also important that you do everything that you can to build a business that gives you an economic engine and flexibility and stuff of your own. Like I don't think that there's, I call it a freedom business. When you build a business that gives you the ability to work where you want, when you want, make as much money as you want, all that good stuff. I think that there's never been a better time to build one of those, and also a more important time to build one of those, because we are heading into so much change that if you can have that thing that can kind of be independent of some of that change and independent of somebody, giving you a paycheck versus you earning your own thing, I think it is the right time to be 100% investing in yourself to do that. So absolutely. Thank you for your time. I appreciate everybody's time and attention in your business and being a part of the community, as always. Starting over in line, currently bootstrapping, where was the recommendation to start at? 7 to work my way up. What's the choose? I'm not sure I understand that. Oh, and then you say 97 and working your way up. I'm not sure I understand that one, Ron. Maybe try and type it in a little bit different way so I can, when you say working to start at 97 and work my way in, are you saying you're 97 years old? Is that what you're saying? What are you saying? I don't know. Give me that. Give me that one again. Once I choose a niche, do you recommend building the snapshot before getting customers, or build it out as I gain experience in the niche? Colby, I don't think it's a bad idea at all to build an initial version of it based on your understanding and assumptions and stuff like that. But I don't think that you should overthink it. And I don't think that you should take too much time on it. Like, just get out there in the marketplace and start getting real feedback from customers. That'll be the best thing to help you build that and get it right. Oh, totally. Yeah, NFTs. No, NFTs are not dead at all. Yeah, no, this is just like the first .com bubble, which I'm happy to have lived through, so I can see some of these patterns. Right, when the first .com bubble happened and popped, everybody was like, "Oh, the internet was just a fad." Yeah. Thank you, Zach. You too. Thank you very much. You too. Awesome. Yes. Everybody have a great weekend. Oh, coming in at the $97 price point. Ron, just jump in there, get high level set up properly, learn to use the functionality of it for your own business. Okay. Set up your own business. Use my R4 sales system, use my agency sales funnel bootcamp, set it up for your own business so that you can start to see how to use it and use it every damn day, right? Just use high level for yourself every day, and then go through my high leverage agency and just commit to it. That is exactly what I would tell you to do. And get on my calls, ask me questions so I can give you some guidance from there. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Colby. Glad to help. You bet, Gene. Thank you. Brittany. Yes. Right. Awesome, everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend. Again, thank you so much for being a part of my community. I appreciate you so much. And this was a lot of fun for me. I hope it was for you as well. Hope you got some good stuff out of it. And we will see you on the next office hours and hopefully in my community elsewhere in between then. All right. Take care, everybody. Talk soon. Bye-bye.